There is a delay.
Yeah, it is. See it.
There we are.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Let's say rich risings.
Rich risings, grand risings. Happy Tips and Tea Tuesday.
Yep. Happy Tips and Tea Tuesday. How can I forget our brand? Just we changed Tuesday. It's now officially Tips and Tea Tuesday
That part, yes. They
because
better
this Tuesday.
recognize.
Exactly. Let's get it together, people. You better keep up.
Keep
Better
up.
keep up. Let's see where we. Good morning. Good morning, Ronnie. Glad you can join us this morning. Thank you for hopping on.
Good morning.
Yep, you in for a good live. We have a guest speaker joining us today. Can't wait to bring her on. I'm
Yes, we
super
do.
excited.
Definitely going to be something good today.
Let's see here. I think I'm gonna drop this. Did you drop it in the group already?
Listen, that's what I was going to tell you. For some reason, like I can see on my page that it's live, but I can't, it's not showing on the page, if that makes sense. So you might have to share your link because I can't,
Hmm,
it's not showing.
that is weird.
Because I was getting ready to share one, but it was actually the link for last week's live. So it's not going to work. Yeah, like I can see on my page that I'm live, but I don't see us on the page.
Even
Let me,
now?
I'm going to close it out and then go back in and see if I can see it.
Okay. Yeah,
No,
gotta be
ma'am.
working because I see Ronnie. She said Rich Rising, so
Yeah, no, I just can't see it personally on my page. I can see it on your page.
let me go to yours.
Yeah, because I can see, yeah, I can see where I posted a story on my page, but not our live.
It says that you're live.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
says
there
live,
it
but I
is.
can, you see it?
Mm-hmm. Says it's live now.
Okay. Well, maybe it was just a nice little delay. There we are. There we are. Okay.
It was messing with you this
It was.
morning.
It didn't want me to be great, but that's all right. We still gonna rock and roll with the punches, okay?
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, all right. Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Well, you ready to go ahead and kick this thing off and get this thing started?
You know,
Or you want to
I
give them a
guess
few more minutes?
we can give them one more minute and then we just gonna go ahead and get going because you know what we say. The queens be having things to do. So if we
That
can't
part.
stay in here all day, I wish we could. Wouldn't that just be lovely? I'd probably be dehydrated.
Not dehydrated. Just sit here talking. Well, you gotta make sure you got your water. You gotta have your refreshments, queen.
I need my water. Gotta get it together. I'm over here drinking this coffee this morning. Yeah. No tea in my cup today. I have coffee. We need energy. Today is a marathon, not a sprint.
A marathon, not a sprint. Yeah, we're gonna take our time, honey.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, let me see here. Make sure that I post it? I did.
You did? Okay, perfect. Let's see.
All right. All right. I say we let's go ahead and get started then. It's
All right.
8:07.
8:07, 9:07 here. All right. Well, good morning, beautiful people. It's your girl, Satitra Booker. I am a senior consultant with the wonderful company Nove, the Credit and Money Company, and I'm here with my wonderful and lovely co-host, Miss Chantella Shabazz.
Hello,
And
hello.
you just tapped into another powerful Tips and Tea Tuesday.
Yes, yes. I'm super excited. You know, I've been waiting for this. I've been excited about it. I know
Oh,
C been kind of low key, kind of gatekeeping our guest speaker back there, but she's finally willing to share. Right? You're gonna share today.
yes, sharing is caring. So, I'm going to go ahead and share.
Yes, yes. So today, we wanted to dive into something a little bit deeper that, really affects every one of us, right? So we want to talk about the connection between money and mental health.
Mm, yeah.
Absolutely. So we have some people logging in. Good morning, Kier. Grand Rising Green. Grand Rising.
Grand Rises, Kier. How are you?
Yes, yes. So if you could drop in the chat what city and state that you're from, we
Yes.
wanna we wanna shout you out here. Thank you for joining. Where are all our wealth builders from? What city and
Yes.
state are you all logging in from? Good
And
morning, Gina.
good morning, Gina. Hey, Queen. And
Yep,
also
drop in the
to
chat what city and state you're from.
city and state. And also, if you have ever been stressed about any money issues, drop a mind blown emoji in the chat too, because we're going to talk about money stress today.
Yes, yes. We want to give you some tips on how to get past that money stress.
Yes. And
Yes.
today's guest speaker definitely is so needed for this conversation. She is definitely a powerhouse advocate for mental health. She is a dynamic speaker. My baby sis, she truly believes in whole life wellness. So, Tips and Tea audience, please give a warm welcome to my baby sister, Dr. Jerica Wesley. Good morning,
There she
sis.
is. Hello, beautiful queen. Good morning.
Good morning. Can you
Thank you
guys
so
hear
much
me?
for joining us this morning, Jerica.
Yeah. Welcome,
Yes, yes.
everybody.
Thank you for
Over
joining us
here.
and giving us some of your time.
Of course, it's an honor to be here with the heavy hitters. I'm cheating. I'm having it's a hot brown water kind of day over here. So we too legit to
Same,
quit. Yes, yes,
What's
same.
this say too legit to quit?
it does. It
Love
does.
you.
We all
Yeah.
agreed. Tea was just not gonna cut it today, everybody.
Nope.
Needed something a little stronger.
Sometimes you gotta have a meeting before the meeting to all touch and agree, and that's what we had to
Mm.
do this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So, Jerica, would you like to tell your why and why you got started in mental health wellness?
Absolutely. So I've been a counselor for like 10 or 11 years. I feel like I tend to pause. COVID gave us an extra 18 years of life experience. But it's been something that's been, I don't know, a part of my mind and my heart for a very long time. I feel that, mental health is so stigmatized in our communities. And I feel that a lot of the conflict, inner conflict, and things that folks go through could be reduced if they had an outlet. And I'm blessed to be an outlet and a retainer for folks. And primarily, I connect with people around grief, particularly infertility and reproductive loss. But I do ascribe to be a practitioner that welcomes in and talks about the full person. And so that would mean, mental, emotional health, physical, financial, all of those aspects that we navigate every day. I feel like I could just lump it all together and say adulting, because we all need support for that. But I really love what I get to do, and I really feel honored that you all welcome me today.
Oh, yes, definitely, definitely. It's definitely an honor to have you and to actually be on the platform with you and be able to introduce you. So this is awesome.
Yes, yes. Thank you for joining us and sharing your time. Definitely grief sometimes when you're dealing with that, and having somewhere that you can talk to just be able to just be who you are and not have to be strong or put on a brave face, to know
Mhm.
that you're an advocate for that, to help people through that. I think that's truly amazing. So our hats are off to you, Queen. We definitely want to show you some love. Y'all drop some hearts in the chat for Miss Jerica, and just big
Yes.
thank you for helping people. Especially we've had grief hit our heavy hitter team
Yeah.
recently with a lot of losses, just throughout our organization, throughout our family. And to know we have someone like you that is pushing to help people get through that, and letting them know there's another side, that
Mhm.
you don't have to be stuck in it. I think you're truly amazing for that.
Same, absolutely.
Thank you, Queen. So,
Yeah.
just a reminder to our audience, you all, if you have any questions for Jericho, definitely feel free to drop them in the chat throughout the segment, and we'll make sure we go back to your questions and ask them for our guest here. And just thank you in advance, everyone, for jumping on. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for coming in. All
Yes.
right.
Good morning. Oh, shout out to Miss Valerie Taylor tuning in from Winfield, West Virginia.
Hey, hey.
So we can just you want to just go ahead and jump into the questions?
Yeah, we can go ahead and get started.
Okay. So, Jericho, you talk a lot about emotional impact of money, and what is one way that financial stress typically will show up in mental health?
Oh my. So I like to think that financial stress can be associated as being a chronic stressor. And so
Mhm.
when we have constant worry about bills and debt, the price of eggs, the lack of income, it can really become stored up in our body. And we might have some symptoms that could affect our sleep, that could affect our eating habits. And so there can be additional physical symptoms like headaches. So emotional stress, oftentimes folks will think it's just caught up in the mind. And with mental health, there are some physical implications that can happen. So anytime that we feel off balance, especially when it's related to this chronic stress related to financial stress, it could really affect our bodies and prevent us from being present. It could make us more vulnerable to make choices that aren't in our best interest. So
Mhm.
there's some physical components and also some emotional components with finances. Oftentimes, we learned about our finances through family and those dynamics, and we might have the tendency to carry some things on
Mhm.
that may not be in our best interest. But what I really appreciate about this space, we're armed with tools so that we can learn how to have some intergenerational wealth and learn different strategies to begin to diffuse some of that stress. So there's the physical component and also the emotional component of being bogged down with stress.
Yes, definitely. And
Yeah.
I definitely have been there, done that before, so that definitely can affect you because, bills, they're going to keep coming. They're going to keep
Hmm.
coming no matter
Every
what.
month to the
Every month.
mailbox and the phone.
The mailbox,
Always
the
on
phone,
time.
text
Always on
message.
time.
Yes, that
Well,
part.
exactly. Don't
Definitely.
stress out about them bills. They still gonna come after you long gone.
That is
Right.
so
And
true.
it could really make us get, I don't know, just really off balance. Because with finances, there could be this, I don't know, just this hardship because there can be a knownness about it. Not all bills are predictable. Like, if
Mhm.
there is experience with a hospital, or I don't know about this, but nothing ever goes wrong with my car until I wash it. So
Right.
Nothing happens. So it's those unexpected things that it would be in our best interest if we could to plan and be proactive, because we can certainly count on life to keep on lifing.
That's true. That is
That's
so
very
true.
true. We talked about that before, where we're like, if your car is getting older, if you got to the point where your car is now paid off, just know
Mhm.
that
Something's gonna
warranty
happen.
is gone. Most than likely, you're going to have some repairs coming up on that car. So you got to keep that in mind. If your transmission went out last year and you had to do some repairs, more than likely that following year, something else is going to happen. So it's
A
best
light's
to,
coming on.
yeah, keep that realization.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Like ding, ding, ding.
Mhm.
Well, thank you for sharing that, Jerica. I also want to just get your opinion. Why is it so hard for our community to just talk openly about money and mental health? And then how do
Oh,
we break that silence?
absolutely. And I think it's platforms like this. Historically, we don't talk about mental health. Historically, we don't talk about the nuance of finances, because what happens in our home stays in our home. And that creates a divide in potential for education and growth. And so
Yes.
with money, it has the ripple effects of money are long and lasting. And so money can create a divide in relationships.
Yeah.
um, I tell you, when there unfortunately is a loss, there can be a lot of conflict that comes up that further prevents families and individuals from having conversations around finances, because we might not feel resourced enough to address conflict.
Mhm.
So it's something that has the ability to continue because it's always been done this way. And so
Right.
we have to make the effort to ask the questions, to, ask those questions inside family, and also connect with others who are more knowledgeable about finances and how we can make more informed choices. So silence and being stagnant only makes things grow in ways that are unhealthy.
That part.
I
Yeah.
understand that. Yeah.
Definitely agree with that.
Yeah, because me personally, it's in my name. It's Chantella. I tell
You want
too
to tell
much
it?
anyway.
You
I
want to
tell
tell
on
it all?
myself. I got no secrets, and it's a problem. I probably need some counseling on that, because why do I talk too much
Mm-mm.
sometimes? So, but honestly, you're gonna get it all from me. I'm gonna tell you, we need to talk it out. We need to figure it out. But for me personally, I know, just don't bring me a problem. Okay, what solutions? What do you have in
Mhm.
mind to help fix the
Mhm.
problem? And I
Yeah.
think a lot of people are like, okay, I'm already underwater. I'm already stressed out. You
Mhm.
know, you can't keep just throwing things at me and then expect me to fix it, because then that feels like a weight. Are you coming at me and attacking me saying I need to fix this? Or are we in this together as a
Mhm.
family? And how are we going
Mhm.
to approach this problem? I love Destiny Reedy. We were at a convention
Yeah.
um, back in February, and she was discussing with her husband on the stage, and they were talking about how they just don't let the problem overcome them in their marriage.
Mhm.
They're not attacking each other; it's them against the
It's the
problem that can
problem.
face it.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think more people, if they just think about that, hey, we're a unit. We're in this
Mhm.
together. We
Mhm.
Yes.
don't have to be on opposite sides like we have to be on our own. That's why we're a
Mhm.
family. So you got to be able to trust yourself and trust your partner.
Yeah.
I
Absolutely.
think
Definitely.
it's a big part of it too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Avoidance can just really flare up. And if we become isolated in experiences, that can only make symptoms of stress and depression grow. And that
Hmm.
could, really put us in a position to do things that would not be good for us. Or well, I don't know, y'all might kick me off the live, but I was watching Just One of Those Days, that new movie with Kiki Palmer, and how Cat Williams is outside of
Yes. No, don't do it. No. Yes. Yes. Yes.
but
Yes.
it's like when we're in those vulnerable positions, just because we're not able to think things maybe all the way through because our emotions are activated and flared up, we might want to make a choice or a decision that might not be the best for us. So anything that we can do proactively and collaboratively is really what we want to move toward. And there's no shame in that. I feel like finances and food go hand in hand because there's this idea that I'm going to do something wrong or I can't do anything right or I'm overdoing it or I'm underdoing it. And the thing is, finances are not one size fit all. What happens financially for me today or this week may be different next week. So we have to be flexible to our approach, but also prioritize our needs and our values.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I like that. You got to be flexible, everybody. You can't. I know we like to make a plan, and I know we like to have the budgets, and that is a great way to, just be able to track and to stay on task with a lot of things. But know that life happens, and it's okay
Yeah.
if you can't follow everything to a T. You got to be able to allow yourself grace and factor in that, hey, my car that I just got, you can just bought a brand new car. You're like, why is this car acting up on me now? And I just got it off the lot. Or, oh, now a dust storm and came through and took out the whole back porch.
Oh God.
She said took out the whole back porch.
Not a
The
dust
whole
storm.
back porch. Yeah. I mean, you do have to be flexible and, willing to bounce back and forth because sometimes you do have to teeter totter with your finances in certain situations.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Yeah.
Something else that I feel that, strikes our community is the embarrassment. You know what I mean? You don't want your friends or your family members to know, oh, well, so-and-so can't do XYZ because they don't have XYZ. You know what I mean? So that's something that is a big thing as well. And I think that's another reason why people don't talk about finances as much. And if you talk about things, then you're going to put yourself in a position to get knowledge, to get, put yourself in a better situation, because I may not know something that Shantella knows, or, Jerica may know something that I don't know to help me put myself in a better situation. So talking to people, sometimes it does make you feel maybe a little less than because you have to speak to somebody about it because you don't know what to do. But you have to look at the situation. If I don't talk to anybody, if I don't get any advice, I'm still going to be in this situation. Nothing is going to change. Nothing changes if nothing changes. You have to step out sometimes and say, hey, I'm struggling. I need a little help. And there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
And by doing that, I really appreciate that point. It can help you to gain more control over your situation because I feel like we could have the tendency to make choices when we don't have a clear plan. And I mean, it's like this balance of being totally like rigid and black and white. And then also, like Shantella was saying, to add in some grace for yourself. So talking to people can reduce that mental load. And I would say also that it matters who you talk to. We can't just be talking to everybody about anything.
Right.
But you have to be able to use our discernment to figure out, who could I be vulnerable with that could help me, that can meet me where I'm at. Because with money and finances, it can be a really strong attached to your identity. So it has this idea that if I'm asking for help, I'm flawed. And when in fact asking and getting things answered and being exposed to things is certainly a strength.
Yes, that part.
Absolutely right. Yeah, I would definitely say that, especially with kind of got to be careful who you talk to. But if you do end up talking to the wrong person, that is a lesson learned. You just need to change your circle and be able to talk to the right person, right? Talk to the right people. So just because you had a bad experience with that one group, with that one family member, with that one friend, don't let that shut you down and not want to share at all moving forward. You just gotta find your people. You gotta find your tribe. You
gotta find your tribe. Yes. Definitely. So let's just talk a little business. So for entrepreneurs, and burnout could definitely be real. So in your opinion, how can you better protect your mental space while chasing your goals?
Mm, you know, it really goes toward balance and creating realistic goals, realistic and achievable goals. Because listen, honey, I could say on May 21st, I'm going to be a millionaire. I don't know how realistic or achievable that is. I can make the goal, but it's important to figure out what are the actionable steps to get you where you want to be. And I think it's
Mhm.
something so powerful too to be able to have that touch point with your values. Because
Mhm.
I about you, maybe it's just me, but sometimes I just get busy, and I don't really think about sometimes what is it that I want to accomplish to get, you know, balanced and centered. What are the goals that I have for my family? What are the goals that I have for me? Right? So inviting in that time of reflection, it's not a waste, because I think the perception could be if you're not doing anything, you're not being productive. But there are things that we have to do to move us toward our goals and our values. And a lot of that involves rest on the front end, in the middle, and the back end. So I would just say, thinking about those values, thinking about what's important to you, and then really considering what are the actionable steps to meet
Mhm.
this reasonable and realistic goal that you have.
Gotcha.
I love that. Oh, Carmen
Yeah.
Strong said, she said, I love this. Shout out to Carmen.
But
Thank you,
that's very
Queen.
true about the realistic goals, because you do want to set goals for yourself that are not too far out. I mean, you want to set higher goals for yourself, but like you said, be realistic with your goals and then pace yourself as well. And
Mhm.
and then like we always say, there's nothing wrong with small wins. Take every small win, celebrate your wins. If you have
Absolutely.
a goal and you're making steps towards it, maybe you haven't quite reached it, but you're making strides towards that goal, then celebrate
Hmm.
yourself because you're doing the right thing. You're almost
Hmm.
there. You're almost there.
Absolutely. Almost. And I would also add to see, not comparing yourself to others. We have
Mm.
no idea of what somebody is going through, or the steps or progress or, journey that they've had. And it would be totally unfair, and it could rob us of our peace if we would compare ourselves to someone else. So, remaining present, focusing specifically on you, celebrating every win, no matter the size, because it's still a step further along in that process. I always think of the image of steps. You can start here, but oh my gosh, in June you might be midway through. You might be three-fourths. You never know, but it's still moving forward in a positive direction.
Yes. Yes. Moving forward in a positive direction. I like it. Love it.
Mhm. Be persistent, people. Push
Hmm.
through.
Keep
Hmm.
pushing. Keep pushing. Don't give up.
Absolutely. So I just want to send a reminder to our audience that Jerica is here and she's talking about mental health and how that applies to your financial well being as well. If you
Mhm.
have any questions for her, definitely feel free to drop them in the chat. But I also want to ask you, Jerica, and thank you again for just so many gems that you just dropped in this morning. Just want to ask, what are some practical steps, right, that people can take today to improve both their mental well-being and their financial situation? So some practical steps that our
Yeah,
audience can just put in place and apply to their lives.
absolutely. I'd say, kind of going off of just some things that we've organically shared today, setting those small, realistic, and achievable goals,
Mhm.
seeking financial education, finding who your tribe is, finding individuals who are like minded, and also individuals who are in different positions and spaces that you're curious about, right? So, reaching
Right.
out, building, cultivating a network of support, because it's okay to build it if we don't have it, right? That's what we have to do. And
Mhm.
I'd say also prioritizing our needs, because it can feel good to spend. It can feel good to take care of ourselves and do things, right? Because we work, we earn it. And at the same time, we have to think of things long term. So, how are we prioritizing our needs versus our wants? And really having some honest questions and reflections around that. Is there something I need to rethink for this week? Is there something that I'm working toward for this quarter that I want to make sure to accomplish? Is it having an emergency fund that's X amount, right? An emergency fund doesn't have to be millions of dollars. It can be a paycheck. So if I'm, used to getting this, do I have the ability to save this much so that if something were to happen, I'm using resources that I have and I'm not recreating something that I may not have access to. So I would say, setting those small achievable goals, finding your tribe, connecting with them, prioritizing our needs versus our wants, and really considering what would be a reasonable amount of money for an emergency plan, because sports are still going to sport, gas is still going to gas, eggs are still going to egg. And I want to be able to take money and resources from something that I have set aside, maybe versus what I actually have. And that just having those options, doing some work ahead of time can really reduce mental stress and strain because we feel more resourced.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yes,
because I went to the store the other day and juice was $7 for some orange
No.
juice. And I said, how?
Mm-mm.
How?
Mm-mm.
How in the world? Go buy you a bag of, go buy some oranges and make you some freshly squeezed orange juice.
See, I don't know the rules,
$7?
but like, can you have like an orange tree in West Virginia? What are the rules? Like, I
don't know, but we need to find out. We need to get a garden going, sis.
Honey, no, $7.
I'm gonna put that on the list because I got to start doing something. So we're gonna be flexible, and we might have to start being flexible with starting our own garden because these prices are ridiculous. But I love that you also included to self-care in there. It's also not just about setting goals and practical steps and things like that. You also have to take care of your well-being because I don't know about you all, but if I'm looking a mess, I be feeling a mess too. Like my insides be projected onto the outside. But sometimes I just need to go in there and just soak and, put on a nice outfit, comb my hair, and it just changes. Sometimes it just helps change my whole attitude.
Absolutely.
So
It does.
absolutely. Absolutely. Go get your nails done, sis. It's okay.
I got a question for you. So Chantel, you said self-care. So I think the thought is that all self-care has to be financially draining. I heard you say I'm gonna go soak, sis.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a shower. I'm gonna go and do a walk. And, I'm gonna go do something good for myself. So self-care, it's even opening up our lens to it. Doesn't always have to have this financial component. It could be a Sheen haul too. I don't know, but also
Sheen haul.
There's balance. There's balance. So there's cost-effective self-care things. There are cost-exhaustive self-care things, and it's up to us to prioritize what's in our best interest. Because if we are, on either spectrum and we're under prioritizing ourselves financially or we're over prioritizing ourselves, it can really lead to some really stressful times that could potentially be prevented.
Absolutely, because
that's true.
Like you're saying, if you're not doing the things that help de-stress your life, or just give yourself a break, that builds up. That creates other ailments. One of the leading causes of heart attacks is stress. Of strokes. Stress. So literally, you have to address these things. You have to talk about it, seek help, reach out to your community, especially if you're feeling like these are things that you can't do on your own. We can drop Jerica's contact information. We'll hook y'all up so y'all can get y'all some services.
Yes,
Talk
we will.
To Queen Jerica here.
Restore Wellness.
I'm just going to check the chat real quick to see what's going on with our audience. Good morning. Good morning. Yes, Carla, $3.99 for a small bottle of OJ is a little crazy. Yes, yes. Carmen's going to start buying herself some oranges there. I feel that.
Honey, oranges.
I don't know the rules.
Absolutely. Yes, yes. Y'all drop some gems in the chat for Miss Jerica. Oh, Leslie already beat me to it. She's already dropping gems in the chat.
Let's go. Let's go.
Absolutely. All
Let's
right,
see.
all right.
No questions? Well, if we don't have any questions from the audience, I'm going to ask one more. Let's see. What are some examples of undervalued finance?
Oh, when I was making that point, I think of what I like to refer as to the dirty R.
What is the dirty R, sis? What is
When
that?
when we're underdoing things for ourselves, it can make resentment flare up. So, and that can put us in a
Oh, the dirty
space where,
R.
yeah, girl. And so, like for example, if you've had the goal to go back to school, and you're like, no, I don't have the time or the finances, and month after month, year after year goes by, and then here you are not offering yourself compassion. Here you are having some experiences with resentment, with anxiety, with these things because you've been in this space of maybe being, oh, what's the word? You've been prioritizing things differently, and you've kind of put your needs to the back burner for too long. So it is, we're laughing with about these oranges and orange juice, but maybe it is every once in a while getting some of that high quality orange juice. It's not always walking by it. So making sure that there's some balance, or resentment can really flare up.
That's a good point.
That's
Very good
true.
point.
Because I will say, there's always going to be something. There's always going to be an excuse. There's always going to be a reason why you can't do something. You just have to do it anyway.
Yeah.
You have to do it anyway. There's never going to be a right time. Literally. That's right, Leslie. Like Jerica said, the dirty R. Because when the dirty R flares up, everybody can get it.
Oh, yes, honey. When yes. You just snapping at people for no reason.
No reason.
What?
I'm hungry.
Hello. Good morning. It ain't
I
a good
had
morning.
no coffee. Like I'm just on edge because I have prevented prioritizing myself. I was trying to think of, I've been living in survival mode for so long that I haven't prioritized my needs in a way that feels good to me. So it's a balance. It's a balance.
Definitely.
Yes, it is.
It's definitely
Thank you, Leslie, for dropping that question in the chat. See, that was a great question. Go ahead and drop some more, Queen.
Thank you, Leslie. And let's see here. Sis, do you have a favorite daily habit or affirmation that helps you stay balanced when life or money gets a little stressful?
I'd say a mantra or a battle statement that kind of helps me to refocus is, I'm capable of making wise choices. Because whether that's related to finances, whether it's related to food, whether it's related to anything work-wise, it's a recentering, of I am capable to make wise choices. And I owe myself grace. I've never experienced a day like today. This is the only time I've navigated this time in this day. But just recognizing that I'm doing the best that I can. And that's enough.
I love that. I'm capable of making
right now. I am capable of making wise choices. Okay.
Dropping that in the chat. I am capable of making wise choices. Let's see. Leslie here says, I'm transitioning from survival mode too. So she completely understands. Thank you, Queen. Thank you for sharing.
Shout out to Leslie, but she's dropping them today. Love it.
Yes, everybody. I'm capable of making wise choices. I'm putting that as my screensaver today.
What? Not me making it to the screensaver.
Yes.
Hey, look,
Jerica said.
Jerica said it. I am capable of making wise choices.
Absolutely.
Yes. Now, Jerica, what advice would you give to someone who feels ashamed? Because we talked about this earlier. Ashamed or stuck because of past money mistakes. Not currently what they're going through, but they're holding on to things from the past, and now it's manifesting into their present.
And that's hard. And I think, whether it's either extreme, living in the past or living too closely in the future, that can just really rob us of opportunities to reduce our load and feel better. So I
Mhm.
say let some air to it, you know, working to talk about it, even if that's in a very first piece kind of way. It could be journaling about it. It could also be catching any negative thoughts that we're noticing. So if it's, you know, lines or we're playing this broken record in our mind, I shouldn't have done that. I should have, we're doing the shoulda, woulda, coulda. As if we're playing that, if that's anywhere programmed in there, we need to acknowledge it. We have to be able to name it to tame it. So pointing it out and pulling it out from our mind. So if it's I should have done this, or I was so stupid about doing this, or whatever the words that we say to ourselves, because we'll talk kinder to anyone else but ourselves.
Yes,
But
that is so true.
acknowledging it,
That is so
it's
true.
like we will talk, honey, it's okay, da, 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 but to us, honey, you should just throw in the towel. You saying we give up
Just go ahead
and
and stop.
just stop.
Yes.
Just stop it. So we have to acknowledge first what is playing, what are those deep rooted things that are preventing us from moving forward in our value system. Yes, I'm
Yes.
sorry. I see said something.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody,
Yeah, on
no,
that one,
somebody
snap
in the
your
chat
own
was
hand.
asking, is the doctor taking new patients? We're gonna drop
Oh,
we're gonna drop her information in the chat.
Yeah, she gonna
yeah.
get us all together.
Oh, listen, no, and there's community in this. Like, yes, I am a counselor. It's this individual space that I usually connect people with. But what I find most important, to go back to your question too, Chantel, is like we've got to let air to this. Like I always think of the imagery of stagnant water. What happens in it? It gets gross, it
Mm-hmm.
stinks, bugs be happening. But we got to let
Bacteria
air to
builds
some of
up.
these bacteria, right?
Right.
We
She
got to
said
figure out what we
bacteria.
need, what movement we need, whether it's emotionally, whether it's physically, to stir up some of that so we can decipher where it goes. Is this something I need to hold on to, or is this something that I need to work to create a different relationship with?
Mm-hmm. That is very, very true. You can't stay stagnant in it because then you just stuck. You're not moving forward. You're not moving
Mm-hmm.
backwards. You're just still in
Stuck.
it, and it's affecting every part of your life, not just
Yeah.
you personally, because of what you're doing, what you're holding on to. It's affecting your family. It's affecting your
Mhm.
kids. It stems down to generations, and that's how those generational curses start.
Absolutely.
A lot of people
Yes.
don't realize that because you're not willing to let go of things, you're literally pressing the brakes. We've heard this before, and
Bringing
you're
it.
holding
Mhm.
up so many people that's trying to come behind you because
Yeah.
you
Mhm.
don't want to move forward.
Yeah.
Hurt
And it's
people, and then you
hard.
pass it down.
Hurt people. And I also would invite into, because I recognize change is hard. And whether something is going on in our lives that we feel maybe isn't the greatest or something that we want to change, it's still familiar. So part of it is it feels okay because it's not exactly the full conflict of a change, right? So we can stay somewhere and it still be comfortable, or we
Mm,
could consider a different reality or adjustments that's not comfortable, that we don't have, you know, full clarity on what it'll look like. So it's a risk either way. It's a risk to stay in a mental space that's not good for us, and it's also a risk to make changes. We have to evaluate what is best for us though.
Yes.
absolutely.
And growth is not comfortable. It's not going to be comfortable. When you're
Oh,
staying in a comfortable situation, you are pretty much being stagnant sometimes. Or,
Hmm.
if you go back to a comfortable situation, sometimes you're being stagnant. But you have to move on. You have to move on. Growth is not going to be comfortable. It's not going to be, I mean, you got to do it scared, you got to do it nervous. I mean, I'm saying this to you guys, but I'm also saying it to myself. So,
yeah,
Yeah, speak it out loud for us to hear it too.
yeah.
yeah.
But I will
We
say they
don't.
don't call it growing pains for no reason. It's gonna hurt,
It's
but
gonna
it's gonna
hurt.
hurt you worse if you stay in it.
Mm.
It's gonna hurt worse if you
Mm-hmm.
don't move. So you have to look at that because you also have to kind of look at it where I need not be selfish in this anymore because it's not just about me,
Right.
right? And Yeah, the growing's gonna hurt, but what's on the other side of it? A lot of times, once you start growing out of things, you find peace. You start finding your
Mm-hmm.
joy again. You start seeing things more clearly, but you just got to
Oh,
get
I
through
can
that growing
sleep.
period.
I can
Yes.
sleep differently. Like
Yeah,
we don't realize rest. Like we're not machines. We can't always be on.
Yeah. No, you
not
have
at
to
all.
sometimes you gotta turn it off every now and again. You gotta turn it off.
Turn it off.
Yes, yes.
Let's
Let's
see
see here.
here.
I have a comment from Ronnie. You want to read it?
Yes, with mental health being a big issue in our community, what is the one way that we can deal with depression and lack of motivation? Hold on, I think I need to tap on it to see more. And lack of motivation when it comes to handling finances.
Hmm.
Ooh, that lack of motivation. Ooh.
Hmm. I don't know who asked that question, but I feel attacked. No, I'm kidding.
No, she said I feel attacked.
I think it can seem really intimidating to think about a financial plan or
Mhm.
a budget. But I think it is action and evaluating what action would be most helpful. It could be looking at our mobile banking to get an idea of what we have accessible or available. I think it goes back to attaching some action. Um, because it sounds like there could be this realization already that I'm not living as fully as I would want to live, right?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
that's the first step, is acknowledging that, and then figure out what would be a reasonable next step for me. Now that I've addressed that I'm not living as fully as I would want to, who should I connect with, or what should I begin to write down so that I can see more easily, what are some things that would be good for me? How can I plan? Because without a plan, it becomes more overwhelming. And I go back to that, idea of being stagnant. We're just living in this potential chaos, this storm where we
Mhm.
don't have any clarity. So I
Mhm.
think it's recognizing that we're not living as full as we want to, and then figuring out what would give me just a little bit more of relief so I could tackle this with more clarity and with more peace.
Yes.
Yeah, I get that because sometimes, people will say, when you're feeling like you're in a season of lack, you need to go back and look at, you know, all the things that you do have and just start naming them out and saying, I'm thankful for this and I'm thankful for that. And that kind
Yeah.
of helps you. But sometimes it takes more than that, especially if that season has been going on for a while and you just
Yeah.
keep having to push through it. And,
Mhm.
just to have that those other tools and those habits, right, that you create, to
Mhm.
help you get through these seasons where depression is trying to take over, but you know
Mhm.
there's a way out, and you can't just
Yeah.
think that the storm is never going to end, because it
Mhm.
will.
Mm-mm.
It can't
No,
last
Mhm.
forever.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
there's
even like
always a way out.
there's always a
Always.
way out. And even going back to like, I'm capable of making, um, you know, good choices and things like that. It could be, I'm starting to prioritize myself today. Like, what we can always adjust that narrative that we're playing. So if it means today I'm going to prioritize me so that I can, move toward a life in a direction that's more restorative to me.
Yeah, I'm gonna say
Yes,
say
ma'am.
that one more time. Preach. I need to prioritize me sometimes. I
Yeah,
count too. Raise your hand. I count too.
Yes,
it's
we have to
hard.
prioritize ourselves. We do. Sometimes you get so, in the hustle or bustle of everyday life and going and doing
Autopilot.
what you need to do for this person, that person, and you forget about, oh, well, shoot. You sometimes like realize that, dang, I ain't even ate today. So
Did I
you
do
have to take care of yourself.
Mm-hmm. What they say on the plane, put your mask on, secure your mask first. You got to.
Yes. Because my thought is always
Absolutely.
to take care of the kids first, you know what I mean? But if I don't put my mask on
Listen.
first, I can't take care of the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So you can have capacity. And I think that's the thing, going back to that question. We've got to to work to create capacity building practices for us. And that could be eating, that could be staying hydrated. Like all those things give us the ability to tolerate things differently when we're, consistently taking care of our needs.
So
Yes,
I don't
ma'am.
know if you all are hearing this, but there's a consistent theme throughout what Jerica is saying. She's literally telling you, like, you have to take care of yourself. You have to prioritize yourself. You
Mhm,
have to be willing to move out of certain situations and certain circles and use your discernment to move
mhm,
away from certain things, right? Because at the end of the day, it all comes back to you. It's your
mhm,
choice. You have to
mhm,
trust yourself because if you're not taking care of yourself, it's going to show in your finances. It's going to show
mhm,
in your physical health. It's going to show up in your friends and family situations and how you communicate. It's going to start showing
mhm.
up in your job. It just keeps trickling down to other parts of your life.
Yep.
And if you don't do this, if you don't prioritize your mental health and take your breaks, then we're right back in that vicious cycle and we're just doing it over and over again and we're stuck.
Yeah.
Yes.
It just keeps happening. Yes, self care is a must, Charlene. We're going to throw that up on the
Mhm,
screen. We're going to leave that up for a while.
mhm.
Yes. Self-care is definitely a must. You have to. You have to. You have to take care of
Mhm.
yourself.
Have to.
And let's see. So Jerica, in your work, what transformation have you seen when someone commits to healing financially and emotionally?
Oh my goodness. It's I don't want to sound corny, but it's so beautiful to see.
Oh,
Seeing
I bet.
someone, that has recognized and has made adjustments so that they're living more fully. It's hard work. I wish I could say that, things will happen immediately, but the reality is we're building or reestablishing a routine that's good for us. So it's just very beautiful to see someone moving forward in the direction that they want to go in.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
It's
definitely. I bet you that's
awesome.
an awesome feeling. You're probably like, oh,
Mhm.
they did it. They did it. My baby
Hercules.
did it. Yes.
Look, I'm going to start clapping for me too. I'm going to do some
Mhm.
more of these on a regular
Yes.
basis.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes, honey. Sometimes you got to be your own cheerleader.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Let's
No,
see,
we got
Sherry, being a mom, business owner, full time student, full time 9 to 5, mother of four, one with some disabilities, and trying to be a good wife. Keeping up with the house has been a struggle. Taking care of myself, however, there have been times where my house looks like who did it and why I'm taking a nap. Some choices to clean and sleep. Chooses. Yeah. Sometimes you have to wait. Sometimes things do have to wait.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
What I've
Yeah.
learned, I tell you, anything that has to wait, don't worry, it won't move. It will wait for you. It'll
It
stay
will.
right where it is.
Yes. It'll be there when you get back or when you wake up.
Mhm. It'll be there, but also recognize too that is there one small thing that we could do to help, or offset some of that stress. For me, it's the teacher, you can go off camera because you don't need to look at me right now. It could be having your daughter to pick out her clothes in the morning. It could be. It could be. It could be that. So you're not rushing around in the morning like I do. But that requires that I'm organized. And sometimes at 8 o'clock, well, let's be honest, at 6 o'clock, I already got my pajamas on and I might be going to sleep. So sometimes
Mm-hmm.
it's like, self-preservation too. Is there a small step that I might be able to incorporate? Maybe not doing the whole thing, but one small thing that would make me tackling my day a little bit more tolerable. And that one thing for me is having my daughter to pick out her clothes and her socks. My God,
She,
before she goes to bed.
but she does such a good job.
And then she'd be like, right as we're walking out the door, "Oh, I'm hungry. Can I get a snack, sis? You done already." I'm sorry. I deflected. I'm sorry.
Yes, look, we've all been there. Look, there's been some times when my daughter tucked me in and she went on about her business. I'm like, you do you. You do you.
Mhm.
Look, be
Mommy's having
safe.
a
Have a
day.
good night.
That's how they treat us. But it's what's one thing just to lessen that load because we certainly wear a lot of hats.
Yes, we do. Yes,
Yeah.
we do.
As women, you do wear multiple hats multiple times a day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. Again, don't be afraid to ask for help. Sometimes you have to tap in your team. You have
Mhm.
to tap in your tribe to give yourself that break. So
Yes,
don't
ma'am.
feel guilty. Don't
Oh,
feel
on that note,
ashamed.
mm-mm. I'm
No,
doing the
just let it
very
out.
best I can for today, for this
Hmm.
moment, and let that be enough. Let that be enough.
Absolutely.
Let that
Yes,
steady
yes.
go somewhere else.
All right. Last call for questions. We wrapping up. Ooh, ooh,
Yes, got
ooh.
things to do,
We went
places to
along.
go, and people to see.
When the conversation gets so good, it's almost 10 o'clock.
I know. It just flew by this morning.
Didn't it feel like that? I don't feel like we've been on for over 50 minutes. I just don't
Mm-mm.
feel like that at all. The conversation was just so great. And I thank you again, Jerica. You just dropped so many gems. Y'all dropped some gems in the chat for Jerica again because she came in and she gave us so many helpful just things, habits that we can start creating for ourselves, prioritizing self-care, just so many different things that we can do to that affects again the different parts of our life, especially financially. Those
Mhm.
things manifest in different ways. So we
Absolutely.
thank you, Queen. We really appreciate you coming in and just sharing, what you've seen, what you've personally experienced, and how you can put these actions behind the things that we're talking about and not just setting goals, but putting action behind it too. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Of course.
Yes,
Thank you
we
again.
definitely appreciate you, sis.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you all for what you do and how you don't know yet, but all the ripple effects that are happening just because of you all.
Oh,
Um, because girl, we were like, oh, I don't know, we want to keep doing this live every early in the morning.
Yeah.
But yes, I just shout out to C because she keeps me going. She's definitely a rider. She's like, I got your back. Whatever you want to do, we'll just do it.
oh,
So I definitely couldn't be here this morning without her.
Oh yeah.
There would be no tips and tea without Mr. Teacher Booker.
No tips
well,
and tea without C.
oh, well, thank y'all. Y'all so sweet. I love y'all. And Sean, I just got to give it right back to you, Queen, because I mean, you are a phenomenal leader, phenomenal queen, and I'm honored to be here with you. So I just thank you for allowing me to be a part of this, Chantella. So thank you.
Look,
Thank you.
don't
Thank you.
start,
Thank
see,
you.
because we got to make it to next week. So don't start with all that. You're gonna have me crying on the live. They didn't seen us crying enough on this
Yeah,
live.
they have. We might, I mean, and y'all, just excuse us next week because we might be crying next week, but it's gonna be all
Right. Well, thank you
Yes,
all.
I can guarantee you it's definitely going to happen.
right. It's
We have
definitely
one more
gonna happen.
comment.
Sometimes we're
Renona,
looking
shout
for
out to Renola Wallace Johnson. She says sometimes we're looking for instant, fast results. It's okay to move slow and steady in the way slow motion is still motion. A win is a
Emotion.
win, and she is learning to accept that. Shout out to you, Queen, for pointing that out.
yes,
We appreciate your
yes.
testimony.
A win is a win. Small baby steps, big steps, it doesn't matter. You gotta celebrate your win, celebrate your, move forward.
That's right.
Yes, we do. Sherry dropped a comment saying EMDR.
Mm-hmm.
Take that off because I can't see it once it.
EDMR.
EMDR is also self care. Yeah, the healing it brings is so beneficial. I didn't realize
Mm-hmm.
what I was suppressing, which causes
Mm-hmm.
health conditions for so many years. If your mental health is off, everything else will be.
Mm.
Exactly what we've
Absolutely.
been saying. Yep, she just co signed it. Thank you, Sherry.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Well, thank you, everybody, for jumping on. And we definitely appreciate you again. Jericho, we just want to celebrate you and just thank you for your voice and how you just normalize wellness. Like this should not be a stigma behind it. It should not
Mm-hmm. It's a
be something that's
conversation.
hushed or not talked about. Your mental health, like you said, it matters. And
Yes.
just like Sherry said, it manifests into different things in your life and it's going to affect your finances. There's no way around it, you know. And I know that our community as a whole is definitely better because they have someone like you that's prioritizing mental health, that's giving people actionable steps to make sure that they're setting themselves as a priority to be able to move forward. So, again, just love you, Queen, and thank you for just joining us
Mhm.
and just sharing so much of your story and just helping our community. We really, really appreciate you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Appreciate
sis.
you all.
Thank you so much, Jerica.
Yes, yes.
You guys
Well,
take care.
we might have to hold Jerica hostage because we also wanted to jump into a quick affirmation challenge because she was so good at dropping that affirmation earlier. So
Oh, yeah.
we're not gonna say bye to you yet. We holding you hostage.
You got it.
Yes, yes. So because May is Mental Health Awareness Month, I don't know if a lot of people know that. One of the main reasons why we wanted to bring Jerica in because, like we mentioned before, mental health affects so many different things in our lives, and we just wanted to help to bring a new challenge to the forefront for everyone to help shift their mindset as well, and just making sure that you know that what you speak onto yourself, it matters. These things that you say out loud, even sometimes the things that you think about, sometimes you think about it too much, it starts manifesting physically.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we
So
have
true.
to, yeah, like Jerica said, we got to take some actionable steps to
Actionable.
change that mindset to help us shift that way of thinking. Sometimes when something too much is going on, I be calling out Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. Just
Girl, honey, call
get
on
in
his
my mind
name.
before I do.
Call him.
Yes, ma'am.
Get in
Mm-mm-mm.
my mind before I do because woo, when Chantella gets in the way, we just need to step back and throw our hands up.
Girl.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. So, Steve, do you want to tell our audience about our affirmation challenge that
Yes,
we have
girl.
for them today?
Yes. So it's the affirmation challenge. So every day this week, we want you to speak an affirmation over your money, your mind, or your mission. So let's change how we think so we can change how we live. There's all kinds of affirmations out there. Money comes to me freely. Money is abundant in my life. I am worthy of being wealthy. So, just speak those affirmations over yourself, over your life. And, you can always throw in a Bible verse too, because don't forget that.
Oh, yes, definitely. We it starts with God, and then
Yes.
everything else will fall into place after that.
Yes.
Yes,
Jerica,
yes.
what's your favorite scripture? That would be a good one for right now.
Oh, for I know the plans that I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not harm you. Yep, Jeremiah 29:11. And you guys, please forgive me. I have to hop off. I just realized somebody is at my door.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Well, we love
That's all
you and
right.
thank you again so much for coming on. We definitely appreciate you. You have a blessed day, and I will see
You
you
all
in a
too.
couple of days. Love
You
you.
got it. Thank you all.
Yes,
Bye
thank
bye.
you, Queen. Bye-bye.
All right,
All right,
Tillaboo.
y'all.
We done ran over today, honey.
Oh, we way over. We way over. But y'all, let's drop some hearts in the chat again for Jerica. She definitely came in. She just brought so much great insight into mental health and wellness and how it affects us overall personally in our careers, in our family, in our finances. So just drop some hearts in the chat again for Miss Jerica. We definitely just want to show her some love and thank her for coming on and sharing with us. All right. And then I also want to give a shout out to those heavy hitters who y'all consistently show up for us. And we definitely appreciate you all. And I also just want to say thank you all for continuing to speak positivity over each and every member of our team. And even Jennifer with her affirmations. Mondays with Kier, she does her motivationals. Like the whole team, literally, we always drive towards speaking positive things over ourselves and not trying to focus on negative things, right? So, each leader within our squad, within our tribe, it's a teacher.
Yes, our squad, our tribe, girl. Yes.
Yeah, they won't let you. They won't let you talk negative about yourself, dwell on anything bad that's going on in your life. We like, okay, how we gonna fix it? How we gonna move forward? What's some positive things you can start speaking? We letting that go. We not living in the past. So if you are looking for something more, or you're also thinking about joining a team and thinking about what we do and how we help with financial services, definitely feel free to reach out to us. We can give you more information about Nove and how we've added this to help ourselves, our family, and those around us as well too. So again, just shout out to the team and shout out to audience for jumping on today with Jerica and just getting the gems that she dropped. We definitely appreciate you all. And, if you have a favorite affirmation or a favorite scripture, go ahead and share it. Drop that in the chat as well, too.
That would be nice.
Because I'm taking notes. I will be using these and shouting it from the rooftop with my windows down today as I'm driving out to my parents' house. Sometimes we gotta yell it, right? We gotta yell it. Yes, yes.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Sherry said, "Thank you, Queen Chantella and C, for always having good segments."
Oh, you're welcome. We hope to continue to bring you more. So,
Yes.
you all show up, we gonna show up too.
Yes. We in this together.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Well, before we jump off, I know we want to jump into our promo that we're talking about this week, see. So I'm gonna bring it up. Yeah.
Yes, our debt help program. So we do have a debt help program. We have a personal debt help program, and we also have a business debt help program. If anyone is in need of any information, you can definitely feel free to reach out to myself, Satitra Booker, or Chantella Shabazz. We do offer a free consultation, and we can get the information right to you.
Absolutely. So it's as easy as just making an appointment, and we'll have our counselors go over what's affecting you and how they can assist you by helping reduce your debt payment by up to 50%.
Yes.
They can help you get everything down to one single affordable monthly payment, where you can also be debt free within 20 to 48 months. So they do a complimentary evaluation, everyone. So it doesn't hurt just to jump on a call and just see what you need to do in order to move forward. So definitely reach out to one of us if you are struggling with some debt and you want to see a way out of it, and to help you with your mental health as well by getting rid of some of this financial debt that you might be in. So we have a couple testimonials that we do want to share with our audience here. I'm just going to go ahead and play this video.
A few years back, I found myself in pretty serious debt. I had a business that collapsed, and I had to get a bunch of credit cards to try to make ends meet each month.
I had just gotten divorced. Debt was piling up, and I really didn't know what to do. And so I was just in a state of being worried all the time. I never felt like I had enough money at the end of the month, and it just never seemed like I was going to be able to get out of debt.
I found myself in crippling debt. I lost my job, and I ended up having to live out of my credit cards, and it accumulated pretty fast.
Towards the ending of burying my husband, I had to use 3 different credit cards to make it all happen and give him the proper burial that he needed.
I got diagnosed with cancer, and I have to stop working for 8 months. And all our credit card bills keep on piling up.
I'd just gone through a divorce, and I was trying to figure out how to capture and pay all the bills before the money ran out at the end of the month, and I wasn't able to get there. And then I came upon Nove Debt Help, and I talked to their representative, and they explained to me how they could help me over a period of time get totally out of this debt.
When I first called, I wasn't really sure about it, but they were just so helpful and understanding.
I talked to them, I asked them all the questions, the good, the bad, and the ugly ones. And then they were very honest and very kind.
And I found them to be extremely amiable in what my needs were.
And never, ever made me feel like I had done wrong as a American consumer trying to live beyond my means prior to this.
The only companies that really makes me feel more easy.
It's just an amazing feeling to see a 0 at the bottom line of all of my credit cards and loans that were taken out. It gives me hope for my future, that I can be debt free and that I can move forward and really use my finances for the things that I want to do.
They work as a team and involve you. From 12 credit cards, I'm down to 4 accounts now, and I'm excited to be debt free.
I'm paying $700 less per month than what I was paying before. I have no more credit cards or loans that are open. I'm just working towards paying them off. now there's light at the end of the tunnel for me.
They found a way to create a plan for me that in 3 years will get me rid of that debt.
Our credit scores have come right up again. I've never seen or heard of anyone doing as great a work as they have as far as helping people to get back on their feet financially.
I am 2 payments away from being financially out of debt, and I can't tell you how excited and happy that makes me.
The new way out of debt.
Yes,
Novate
yes.
Health. Well, wow, you know, what a powerful way to start off our week. We have definitely learned, we have affirmed, and we have been reminded that money and mental health go hand in hand.
Yes, yes. I'm definitely going to be shouting out some of these affirmations. Thanks again to our Tips and Tea audience for dropping their affirmations in the chat. I'm definitely going to be screaming from the rooftops, I am worthy. I am worthy. Thank you, Miss Charlene, for adding that.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, Des, we definitely appreciate you. But just thank you again, everyone, for everyone who showed up. Not only did you show up for us, but you showed up for yourself today. So I just want you to take some time and whatever you heard that might have, helped change your perspective on things when it comes to your mental health, or just looking at a different approach when you're communicating with family about finances and things like that. Take a moment and just really reflect on the conversation that we had today and just think about what stood out the most to you. What really, really helped you to move forward with having conversations, moving forward in the future. So shout out again to our Tips and Tea audience. Diamond just dropped, I am worthy. Good morning. Yes, you are, Diamond.
Yes, Carmen, you are a conqueror. Amen to that.
Yes, yes. So we have to go, everybody. We are way over, but we love being here with you all, and we look forward to seeing you all next week. Please drop a 1 in the chat if you're watching us live. Drop a 2 if you are watching a replay. And we look forward to seeing you next Tuesday or our Tips and Tea anniversary episode. We're celebrating 1 year.
Whoop, whoop. Yes, 1 year.
We made it,
Queen. Woo! Yes, honey. Yes. I'm excited.
Early to have champagne next week in the morning.
Champagne, girl. Maybe a mimosa.
Okay, we can do a mimosa.
All right.
With some sparkling cider.
Sparkling cider, yeah. I don't need a mimosa because I will have to go to work after Tips and Tea. Let me just drink some orange juice.
I got some calls next week.
Right.
All right, everyone. We love
you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Everybody have a blessed rest of your week and have a happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. See you next week.